Morning, folks. Check out my Eaton Viking Dehumidifier from 1976. At least I think it's from 1976. So, as you can see, I made it a new front panel. I made it out of half-inch thick plywood. I cut it out, I cut a square out, and I took this grill. This grate is actually one of those, you know those shelves that you'd find in an old refrigerator? Well, actually, new refrigerators have them too. This one came from a new refrigerator that was being scrapped. So I put it in the plywood, and here we go. We have a nice, pretty strong, solid grill that doesn't vibrate. Now you can see those beautiful aluminum fan blades. And for the actual front panel and the control panel, I did not need to go this hard on this, but I did. Considering this unit is probably just going to get wheeled back into storage for the next 15 years, never to be seen again. This was way too much effort, but you know, sometimes you just get really into a project and you can't help yourself. This was one of those moments. So I did some wood burning. It's actually my first time wood burning. So I put the Eaton Viking logo, made some lines. They're not that great, especially those ones. I added a power switch with a neon indicator in it, and I added a bucket full indicator, which this machine originally didn't even have. It didn't have either of these. It didn't have a power switch, and it didn't have a bucket full indicator. So I added them. Considering this is only a 17-pint unit, this was really kind of unnecessary, but whatever. I signed my name on it, because if I've done any major work to it, I sign my name on it. I put the humidistat on the front. Now, I said I wasn't going to do that before, but the thinking behind this is before, it was a full-size grill, top to bottom, and the humidistat was like over here somewhere, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But here, it's not directly in the stream of airflow, and the idea is air coming this way will actually pull more air, like the ambient air, up this way and then out. And hopefully give this a more accurate reading. It seems to work fine. It doesn't seem to short cycle. So yeah, and the hole where the wires come in from, I can't really show you that right now, but I stuffed insulation in there so that air from the fan doesn't end up coming in and skewing the reading. It seems to work all right. The wheels are really good now. They work great. And I fixed the float switch. Actually, what I did with the float switch was I had micro switches, but they had the wrong terminal size. So what I did was I took a spade connector, not this, but like a male spade connector, and I soldered it onto the terminals of just one of the regular micro switches that had the smaller spade on it. And that way the original wiring could just work. Because I actually ordered the correct part, but it's taking forever to get here and I couldn't wait, so I just had to put it together, and this is what I did. It worked great. So, one thing that I did to solve a lot of the vibration... Actually, let me unplug that. So, one thing that I did to solve a lot of the vibration issues, because I put this back together and it was vibrating like a motherfucker. So, at this point in the video, this clip will probably be in somewhere in the middle of the video, but at some point I put it back together and it was vibrating like hell. And it was so bad and it was driving me insane. So, here's what I did. I traced most of it back to the fan motor, and yeah, it's got that rubber isolator bushing, but that thing doesn't do shit. It vibrates so much, and it's because of the fan blade. It's not bent or anything, but it just vibrates a lot. So what I did was I took some of this double-sided tape, cheap double-sided tape. It's double-sided foam tape, and I cut out 2 little strips, and I didn't peel off the backing on the second sticky side. I stuck it to the motor mount, or I unscrewed the motor. I stuck it to the motor mount over the holes. I pushed the motor back through it and tightened it up, and that is a little shock absorber on both sides. So that actually seems to have fixed the vibration pretty well. I also have all the weather stripping off right now. I'm about to replace it with some new weather stripping. Somebody in the comments of the first video told me about that this should help with vibrations, because the old one was fine, but it was kind of thin. And my new front panel has sort of caused some vibrations, I guess. Or not vibrations, it's I don't know, it just doesn't seal anymore. So there's like a gap, but this weather stripping is quite a bit thicker. So this should fill the gap just fine. Alright, I'm done applying the new weather stripping. See, it's quite a bit thicker than the old one. Fuck me, this is soft. This is so soft. There's the micro switch. I'm not sure if you could see my soldering work. Why does it look so bad from here? Why does it look so bad? What the hell? It must just be the angle. Nothing to do with my soldering. But yeah, there it is. Everything works fine now. There's the Tecumseh compressor that I keep bringing up every 5 minutes. Electro home fan motor with nice shiny aluminum blades. What's that staining on it? Oh, and the weather stripping. Makes a nice tight seal around, which it wasn't doing before, except there, but whatever. Very nice. Now, the reason behind adding the switch, while, like, it already has this, so why would I need to add the switch? So the reason I do that is because I don't like messing with this. I like leaving it in one spot, setting it and forgetting it, and just using the switch to turn it on and off. You know, like, because, I don't know, especially when you're fiddling around in the dark, it's kind of hard to know exactly where this goes, where you want it. You could leave a mark, but I don't like to do that. It's just nicer to have a switch, and it doubles as a power indicator because I have this set up so that even when the humidistat is cycled off, the power indicator will remain on so that you know that the machine is powered. And if the bucket ends up becoming full, then the power indicator turns off and this indicator turns on, regardless of where this is. So just a way to know what the machine is thinking. Well, not thinking. This thing can't think. This thing has about as much thinking power as I do. So let's flip it around. Oh my god, it moves so freely now. So, oh, and by the way, here's how I found out that it's a 17-pint unit. So, this sticker, which is completely ruined, made in Canada, but this sticker, which is completely ruined, had just enough information for me to find out that it was a 17-pint unit, because it says 8.5 liters there. So I already had a suspicion that it was a 17-pint unit. Or sorry, it's an 18-pint unit. Have I been saying 17 this whole time? Why did I say that? Anyways, okay, so it's an 18-pint unit. Forget whatever I said before anytime I said it's 17. It's an 18-pint unit. And see how the model number is DR18-7, and up there the product code is 78 VGD 18A, blah, blah, yada yada, whatever. So I suspected, like, that 18 is such a random number. So is 7, but I figured the 18 must be the pint rating. And sure enough, if you do the math, 8.5 liters is it's 18 pints. Approximately 18 pints. So yeah, 18 pint unit. Here's the information on the back of this. Float switch. Oh, and the float switch. So the micro switch I used had a stronger spring than the old one, so I had to glue this washer underneath to give it enough weight to work properly. So there's that. But it works now. Here's the coils. I haven't figured out what to do for a filter situation, or if I should have a filter at all, because I could just clean it easily anytime the coils get dirty. Thing is about a filter is this doesn't have like a tray to catch the condensate, so, which means if I try putting a filter here, actually maybe I could put it right about here. Yeah, maybe I could do that. But the thing is, a lot of the air would just go underneath and around and back into the evap and condenser anyways, so I'm not sure how well that would work. I'm gonna have to give it a shot. I could put like a whole door here, but that would just be a pain in the ass to open and close to get the bucket in and out. I don't know. We'll see. Here's the bucket full neon indicator in action. I just have the bucket pulled out enough that it's pushing the float upwards. And if you turn on the power, no response. So Now if I push the bucket back in so that it thinks that the bucket's empty, power light comes on, but the unit still didn't start because the humidistat is set to off. Now, set the humidistat where you want it. Power up. And as you can probably hear, it doesn't really vibrate much anymore. There is a bit of a vibration still, but it's just that fan blade is just so... That whole fan just shakes so much. I don't know what to do about it. So anyways, let's let it run for a bit and see how much water it collects. You hear the sound of the compressor. Oops. Of course it starts vibrating again on call, or on, on video. What is that? Oh, it's cardboard. Why is it vibrating again? I spent all this time fighting with that weather stripping for this. Oh. I think it's one of the wheels. Yeah, no. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, whatever, good enough. I'm sick of messing with that. There, I finally got the vibrations down to a reasonable level. They're not totally gone, because again, that fan is unbalanced. But what I did was I took that piece of rubber you see back there, that very thick piece of rubber, and I taped it to the center of the panel that's vibrating. And what I guess this does is change the harmonics of the panel so that it doesn't vibrate. It doesn't, like, yeah, it just doesn't vibrate as much. I don't know the exact science behind it, but it seems to have worked. Any vibrations that you do hear, very slight, and you only hear it from this side. If you're standing here, the fan is so loud it completely drowns it out. Fan and the compressor. So this it's good enough for me. As long as it's not super loud, I don't care. That's fine. So let's see how it's performing. It's been running for a fair few minutes now. One thing I've noticed is do not pull the bucket out while it's running, because it'll trip that switch, and then when it falls back down when the bucket is out, the compressor will not be able to restart under the pressure. It'll trip the thermal overload instantly, and then the thermal overload kicks back in after literally 3 seconds, and then it keeps doing that over and over again. That's going to burn the thermal overload out. That's going to stress the compressor. I feel like I should do something about that, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just be careful. Maybe I'll put a big label here that nobody's going to read anyway, saying do not pull bucket out while unit is running. I don't know. We'll see. Seems to be collecting quite a bit. I don't know if that's showing up on camera. It's a decent amount in there. Hasn't been running for super long. You can see it dripping. I'd call this a success. Another one for the collection. My third... Oh. Doing that just made the humidistat cycle off. Well, that means we were pretty close to the set point anyway, so that's fine by me. As you can see, power indicator's still on. But yeah, like I was saying, third one to the collection, Eaton Viking. I'm starting to become kind of a fan of these Eaton Viking appliances. You know, like people who like old Kenmore stuff. I've got the Eaton Viking snowblower, got a couple videos on that, check it out. The Eaton Viking toaster, which is amazing, it's the best of the three, I think. Check out the video on that. And here we have the Eaton Viking 18-pint dehumidifier. It weighs 6,000 tons, and it's fucking amazing. And it's brown. What more could you want? Anyways, have some fun under the sun.